Bearcat Bounce Podcast, back at it again. It's Monday night, a little bit later on a Monday night, but nonetheless, it's a Monday night. Time for the BBP, presented by Danco, I don't care, Danco Transmission. And of course, I'm Brent Young. Two of my brothers, my PICs. One just became a girl dad. One's been a girl dad for a long time, and then I'm just Brent. So without further ado, Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel. Gentlemen, how are we?
Got home from the hospital today. Baby's good. Mom's good. So we are adjusting to new life.
Yeah. Aaron, how is it? Just, tell us a little bit more. So what? It was kind of a quick push, and all of a sudden, oh, we're having this baby right now. Let's head to the hospital, get it done, and then all of a sudden, C-section, and it's just a curveball left to right, and you guys knocked it out of the park. Is that kind of what it was?
I mean, we knew the C-section was coming, and she
you guys knocked it out of the park. Is that?
I don't know what that was. But she has some spinal issues, so she had to actually be put under for the C-section, and everything's good. We got through it very fast, actually. She was in surgery, and I had the baby within, I don't know, it felt like a half hour. So yeah, cut the umbilical cord and good to go. It was surreal.
Now, were either of you guys a C-section as well?
Ellie had a C-section with Kelsey. No. I don't know. I would hope that I was, with as big as my head is, but
I was a C-section as well, so got a special baby on your hands. The how are we might be her first few words if you let her sit in on a couple BBPs. We'll see what happens.
God, I hope not.
Chad, you're down south where the weather's warm and the basketballs are flying around. How are we?
Tired. It's been a long day, but I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Doing good. It was a productive day one here at the EYBL, so that's always a positive, and got some notes to share and some things to talk about. So the Brendel curse was in full effect day one, which is I would expect nothing less, which just means everybody that I watched played like crap. So that's the fun of AAU tournaments, is evaluating when guys aren't playing well.
There we go. Just still got to sit through it. Still got to figure it out. And speaking about evaluating when things don't go well, it's a good segue. I don't know if you intended that, but
no. But you need to talk about Danco transmission first.
Did you not hear what I just said?
Okay, go ahead.
Here on the Danco Transmission Bearcat Bounce Podcast, our good friend Danco Joe, huge supporter of the BBP, of BCJ, of Bearcat Sports, and of the Cincinnati TBT team. Head to Danco Joe, Danco Transmission, Danco Auto Care. Mention the BBP. Maybe just throw your arm around him and say, "Man, that was tough on Monday night." Get $10 off your next oil change, 10% off of your next fixing of your car. Head there. We all know we need it every once in a while. Danco Transmission, DancoTransmission.com. Guys, TBT. Cincinnati opened the book. They shut it pretty quick. Chad, obviously, you were not able to take in any of the action. Aaron, I imagine, were you in the midst of getting everything all set up back at home, or were you able to sit down and watch the hour and 45 minutes of roller coaster yet again? Another Cincinnati roller coaster.
I was actually picking up prescriptions and dinner through the large majority of the game.
Yeah. Well, if you didn't see already,
have at it.
I was going to say, if you didn't see already, 71-67, tearjerker. You know, I went to Twitter immediately afterwards. Didn't want to dive in too far, but just wanted to say, you know, I shouldn't be this stressed, and now all of a sudden dejected over a basketball game in mid-July. But here we are. The Cincinnati went up against a team that's a pretty seasoned team. They played 16 games in the TBT's history, so it's a team that's been around for a while, and they had Steph Curry on their team as well. He was out there just flinging up threes left and right. I mean, if you watch the game, you know who I'm talking about. But I mean, aside from that, just one of those where they had their moments. The Jacob Evans 3-quarter court shot 3 to end the third quarter. It was one of those feelings of, oh, wow, one of those shots finally went in for the Bearcats for once, you know. We're so used to them going in against us. Now, all of a sudden, it goes in for a Bearcat-affiliated team. But as things end, the Elam ending was unfair to the Bearcats. Kind of a tough 3, a 4-point play, and then a bit of a circus shot put the opposition right there for a chance to clinch the game, and they did. But it was fun seeing Troy Copain out there again, dishing the ball off to Jacob Evans, some fierce drives from Jaron Cumberland, Coriante to Barry banging down low. You know, Shaq Thomas doing his thing here and there. It just stinks. It stinks, for lack of better words, that it was this quick. But when you have a single elimination tournament, one team in every game is going to be saying sayonara after the final buzzer, or I guess the final bucket goes in this case. But, you know, it seemed as if the Nasty Natty was a success, if you guys would think, and it's something that they want to continue moving along the way. Chad, obviously, you and Aaron did a big job on the PTP, and then, of course, with your raising of funds for them, where they now see, hey, there's some extra things that go into just bringing the boys together to go out there and play some basketball. But it seemed as if this is the start of something that's probably going to be coming back around. Wes Miller was in attendance at the Cintas Center. Wants to have it at Fifth Third, you know, next season or in coming seasons. So it seems like something that is going to continue on past this.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually one of the things that probably cost them tonight, is that the Fort Wayne team has been playing together for a while, and kind of had a rhythm in this thing. Not that these guys aren't familiar playing with each other, but, like, you know, you're all getting back together. You got to kind of find that rhythm on how you handle this tournament, this format. The more comfortable you are with it, the more success you potentially can have. You know, I don't know what, like, I don't have a lot to say because I didn't get to see it.
You didn't watch it, yeah.
I saw that they got down, you know, they gave up a quick run early. They battled back.
Yep.
They played well into the third quarter and then just kind of went cold. And that's basketball for you. Sometimes you get hot at the wrong time. And they got hot at a little bit of the wrong time and allowed a comeback. And, you know, shit happens. It was a fun, but game aside, it was a fun week.
Yeah, right. It was.
You know, having the guys around for the week, running some open gym with the team, being around the team. I really thought the event on Saturday was exceptionally well done. That is definitely something I want to see continue into the future, because I think, you know,
I think David DeJulia said it best when he basically said, like, it was really cool that both teams were able to raise NIL money for both Cincinnati and Xavier's active teams, and just getting to be around some of the old heads and all of that. I mean, I don't know. I think he really hit the nail on the head.
Ed, we know you watched it. You're going to be able to talk about it all night tomorrow night on PTP. I'm tired. I'm trying to get through this podcast as quickly as we can. I have another, 14-hour day in the gym tomorrow. Aaron has a baby and Brent has work, and it's already 10 o'clock. So I love you, Ed. I appreciate you live tweeting, except for what mattered. I think you did a wonderful job.
The score?
They got to the Elam ending, and Ed was like, all right, thanks for tagging along, everybody. I'm going to watch the end of the game.
Oh.
Come on, Ed. I was relying on you for updates. I was in a gym and I couldn't get my ESPN to load.
He did tell me he sent out tweets and they didn't go through. So I don't know.
Well, but he said, I'm like, bye, everybody. I'm going to watch the end of the game.
Well, Chad, when you hear the name Taylor Persons, what do you think of?
A guy that was a marginal player at NKU.
So he actually went to Kokomo, where your boy Flory Badunga
There you
is
go.
lighting up the scene. But man, he was the guy that was just knocking down shots. They got Coriante to bury in some high pick and roll situations, and Corey would leave him and leave him open for a three. They fouled him on a couple threes. It's just something where it's just like you said, it first time playing in the event, still figuring out how to play in it. Rebounding hurt them a lot. A player like a Trey Scott, an athletic guard like like a couple of players that were going to be coming in later on, if they were able to continue moving forward, I imagine would have been fun to see out there. But it is what it is. It was cool, and I really hope that they continue rocking and rolling it, because I mean, the better these Bearcat teams get under Wes Miller, the better the players will be available, and the better the teams will be as they carry on. So it was a fun thing to have them all back in town. Fun thing to be, typing out their names and watching them play again. Just sad that it had to end so quickly. Elam ending's fun. I think it's something that should be
have
so much better than free throws.
Yeah. We'll hopefully have a full recap next week with a couple special guests.
There we go. I like it. But aside from that, man,
on the business of tease.
That's a teaser. Don't want to keep you up so late just to tease you, but we just did. But it's a cool thing. Obviously Wes being there shows that he's pretty committed to that. The aspect of continuing to push that forward and seeing where he can take it. But sadly, it ended quickly. And I don't know. We'll see the next steps of that part of Bearcat affiliated basketball. But along from that, Chad, I do have to mention just real quick, you guys had the birdie. Well, Aaron, Chad, anything more on the TBT or Nasty Natty at all?
No, I don't know. I didn't watch.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Better luck next year.
Right. Well, the Jake shot was pretty cool. That was.
I did see a video of that on my phone. That was pretty cool for sure.
Pretty cool.
Jake getting hot and reeling off 11 points to end the second quarter.
Yep. That comeback was fun.
Right? Jaron didn't get going. If you're going to win one of those games, you need Jaron and Jake to cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He started to, but man, they couldn't hit a three at the end. And they kept on shooting threes when in the Elam ending. If you hit a three when you're at 67, you got to get to 71. It's like nothing. No need to hit a three. But that's just something you continue to learn as you go on. But quick exit for the Nasty Natty. But hey, jerseys were fire. It was fun seeing all the guys back. But aside from that, it's time to now roll on to this upcoming season, which that game got me fired up, frustrated. I'm watching a daggone game in March, and it meant a lot to me. And it got me a little bit more fired up for the game. For the upcoming season, which brings me back to the birdie talk that you and Berg had extensively, Chad. Obviously, you guys mentioned this already, so no need to dive further into it. But it just sounds like the team is starting to craft together and look very solid. I know there's a question in the mailbag, the basketball portion, about which team would beat which team out of a certain scenario, but it's sounding like the depth. Okay, I can't wait to hear it, because I think I know what my answer is pretty easily. But the depth is there right now, but it's quality depth. Last year it was depth, but quality depth is crazy, because Berg even had his write up about this upcoming season, and it's like John Newman was mentioned by Kerry Hoffman in the comments, and it's just there are so many players that you just continuously can think of and throw into the mix. But I love the Dan Skilling's talk. If he's doing those sort of things in an open gym setting against superior competition, calling out NBA first round draft picks and wanting to do everything it takes to get better, that was my main takeaway, aside from David DeJulius being a dog and Jeremiah Davenport.
To clarify, he didn't call him out. He just buddied him up.
Right.
It wasn't like a trash talking thing. It was like, I have a chance to learn from one of the greats at the University of Cincinnati, I'm going to pull him aside and like pick his brain a little bit. And while they were talking, they were playing a little shooting game, a little one-on-one, and it worked out well for both of them.
Yeah, I agree. It just seems as if the depth is quality, and the more talks of Sage Tolentino just makes it sound like he's not going to crack the rotation immediately, but it makes it sound like every player, every scholarship player on that roster is just primed to have an impact if they need to.
Sage is really interesting because the one thing about this team that we're afraid of is they're not going to have any rim protection. Or they're going to, not that they're not going to have any, but they're not going to have nearly as much as they've had.
Right.
Sage is 7'1" and pretty athletic. Like if there's a break glass in case of emergency situation where they feel like we have got to get some rim protection in the game, there's a role for Sage. Like, if they can play solid positional defense and do what they need to do, then it won't be as much of an issue. But if they really feel like, we're lacking rim protection and we have got to get some, there could be a role for Sage for sure.
Look at what, and I'm not saying that there should be a tactic that they deploy at all, but look at what the teams that Houston had before they started getting these more, developed and offensively developed bigs. So it was just multiple bigs having the ability to go out there and wall up and contest at the rim and absorb fouls if they need to. So like you said, if the season wears on and the opportunity presents itself, Sage is a big body and someone that could meet you at the rim. And if he picks up a couple fouls, it's no harm. If he affects the game in a positive way, then that's nothing but a positive for the team.
Right. So
I thought all the comments were pretty interesting leading into that. Just excited. Obviously, I'm very, very bullish on this team. I hear, Berg's his trajectory of the season this far out. Obviously, it's so much can change, but it seems as if you took last year's core and you added on a lot of very supplementary pieces. So as the Birdies continue to chirp throughout the off season, more and more positive news hopefully continues to trickle in because it looks like it's gonna be a really good season upcoming, especially one that has the staff all fully locked in, especially like on your pod, the BCJ pod with Wes. He mentioned, this is like the first full off season he's had with Cincinnati. And, just the ability to kind of break it down like that and do the things you want to do on your little, checklist. It's going to pay dividends as quickly as this upcoming season. So looking forward to it. Aaron, did you have anything as far as from Saturday and from the birdie chirping that came through on Thursday before we roll into the future of the Bearcat basketball team?
I wanted to do a new segment with Berg since we do all the little birdie stuff. Right. And I wanted to call it Berg droppings.
Oh, okay.
I thought
it was going to be, birdies with Berg, but I like Berg. I like Berg droppings. I like Berg droppings. Okay. Kind of a little naughty, but I like it. I like it. Aaron, and anything in closing on those 2 or 3 events, I guess?
Thanks for filling in for me, Berg. That's my comments. I've been a little busy.
Well, you were out and about and like one of your last nights pre-fatherhood.
Last night.
And you were going to rush back. And I was like, look, man, Berg was going to come on anyway. Like, you weren't going to get a word in edgewise in that podcast because Berg and I were there, right? And you weren't there.
Right.
And Berg just talks anyway. So it was like, Aaron, you don't have to come home for this. Like, enjoy your last night before fatherhood because you're not going to sleep again for many, many months.
Yeah, I took a 4-hour nap today, so.
You've seen many moons.
In your bed? Like once you got back, you just like...
Recliner, baby on me, doing skin to skin.
Yeah. And she slept for 4 hours?
No, she didn't. She disappeared at some point.
Might need to be careful with that in the future, but hey, if it was taken care of, we're all good.
Yeah, I have to know. Was there a point where you woke up like, oh shit, she's gone?
No. Mom makes sure that we're good. We communicate well.
It wasn't replaced with like a natter day or something, and you were like, "Oh,
No.
A
it's
football.
all been a dream. It's all been
He
a
just
dream."
wakes up with a football right next to him.
What happened?
It's all been a dream.
Why do you weigh the same?
Where did she go? Oh my God.
Well,
That's outstanding.
it's fantastic. But hey, nap has been completed. The time for us now is to roll into the future of Bearcat basketball. And Chad, you are in the epitome of the future of Bearcat basketball there at the Peach Jam. Can you first just clarify to everyone listening why Mr. Wes Miller was at the Citas Center watching the Nasty Natty when the Peach Jam's going on right now?
Because they're not allowed on the road yet.
There you go.
They're allowed on the road Wednesday.
There
So
you go.
he will not be here though.
Oh,
Initially.
okay.
He'll be here eventually.
Right.
But I think there's something that's fairly telling that we'll talk about on Wednesday, where he's gonna start out.
Okay.
So
And that yet again is another late night teaser. You are gonna
the information, it can be released when the information can be released.
right. No.
So yeah, but I there will be a presence here. Don't get me wrong, because there's a shit ton of talent here in North Augusta, South Carolina.
Yep.
Did you know? I learned something new today. So I've always, like, when I come to the Peach Jam on my way home, I get a bushel of peaches for my daughter, and then I make a peach and blueberry like crumble because this always happens right around her birthday, and she loves it. It's like a birthday thing.
Right.
And I've always said from experience, sometimes I'll buy the peaches here in South Carolina, sometimes I'll buy them in Georgia. And the South Carolina peaches are better than the Georgia peaches.
Mm-hmm.
Better be careful how loud you say that down there.
No, listen, this is crazy. I was talking to someone tonight. Apparently 90% of the peach production in the United States is from South Carolina. But Georgia trademarked Peach State. And they don't really produce many peaches in Georgia. The only places in Georgia that produce peaches are the places that are South Carolina adjacent. But the peaches are actually a South Carolina thing.
Wow.
And South Carolina does produce better peaches than Georgia.
Unless you're Justin Bieber. Yeah, you like your peaches down in Georgia. But yeah, Chad.
It's just, that's not actually a thing. It's just a logo. It's just a motto.
It is crazy. That is crazy. Well, because I mean,
educating.
Florida is the Sunshine State. You could call it a million other different things, but there's a lot of Sunshine States.
Right.
You know, I mean, I agree. It's interesting. Very interesting. Maybe the most fraudulent state out there. I mean, what even is South Carolina's? South Carolina's slogan?
Palmetto, right?
Let me check.
I think it's Palmetto.
State slogan. Here we go. Oh, that's not it. Oh, jeez, please. Well, yeah, that is a great thing.
Just a little tidbit.
Yeah, a little tidbit.
For you.
As I look this up, yeah, I mean, I'm seeing weird things, but so tell us, you were there in Georgia, not where the peaches are, but where the basketball is being played right now, and who were you able to get some eyes on so far in your first day there in town?
Well, the setup is a little different in terms of the schedule this year. It used to be they would have 17 and under games all day because they would play 2 games a day. So there'd be a morning session and a night session. Well, now this thing's spread out over Sunday to Sunday. So it's 8 days. Mm-hmm. So everybody's only playing 1 game. So it's basically like the 15 and under teams play in the morning, the 16 and under teams play in the afternoon, and then the 17 and under teams, the majority of them play 5, 6:30, and 8 o'clock. So I was able early to just kind of bounce around and like entertain myself because 15 and under is so far away and none of the regional teams really were there. So I got to see Cameron Boozer,
Okay.
who is the son of Carlos Boozer, who was the number one player in 2025. I got to see Cooper Flagg, who looks like he was built in a Duke laboratory.
Or Kentucky.
No.
Straight Duke.
Oh, he's from Maine. Like,
okay.
Come on, it's a 6'8" white kid from Maine.
Right.
Like, he was genetically produced to play at Duke.
Right.
So I got to see those two guys just kind of, watching. Temple might be dangerous in 3 years. There you go, Cameron Boozer. Because as I was watching the Boozer twins, I think they're twins. I don't know. They play on the same 15 and under AAU team. I would assume they're twins.
Right.
I saw Aaron McKee's son, Jaron McKee, and holy shit, that kid's good. He looked like a surefire 5-star. Like he had 18 points at half. I think he had 30 plus in the game. So those were the first couple games I watched, and then things started to heat up a little bit. And I got to see somebody I've been hearing a lot about, and I've been really excited to see. Okay. Because the Cincinnati coaching staff since like June has been hyping this kid up. And I wanted to see him in person first before I really got into it. He's got a great name.
Yeah.
He's got a great name. Marcus Allen. He's not the son of Marcus Allen. Marcus Allen, it might be his grandkid. I don't know. But no, he's not related to Marcus Allen. But he plays for the Florida Rebels 16 and under team. He's a 6'6" combo forward. Really active, had 19 points, long, he's a good athlete, but he's not like a super bouncy athlete. He's more of a lateral athlete, which I love on guys like this because that means you're more geared to defend and rebound, rebound out of your area. When your quickness is lateral as opposed to just straight vertical.
Yep.
So I really, really was impressed with Marcus Allen. I talked to him after his game. He said that Cincinnati talks to him every day. He's building a great relationship with the staff. And from the conversations I've had, I expect this kid to be a big time target going forward. He plays in the same AAU program as Jizzle James. He played up with the 17s last week in Kansas City, but normally plays with the 16 and under team. So that was the name that I had circled on the old, what to watch today sheet, and lived up to the hype. Definitely lived up to the hype. So when Wes gets here Thursday, I would expect him to spend as much time as he can watching Marcus Allen.
So he also looks like he recently committed to go play at Arizona Compass
Prep,
which is where Rayvon Griffith, which
so
now
he will have a Bearcat in his ear every day.
Yep.
This coming school year.
In the class of 2023. Yeah. And it could be like, hey, we're teammates. Then, I imagine he would stay there for both years upcoming. Would you imagine? Or
I would think, but I
don't know if they hop around with the kids. Yeah. But I mean, it would be a perfect, I'm going to Cincy, following my footsteps, like passing the torch type thing for Rayvon to tell him, obviously. But from what I've seen, and the teams that are now starting to come after him and his high rating and length at that age as well, you got to think that all prospects are shooting up for him. So,
he rattled off when I asked him who was on him. He rattled off like 15, 16, 17 teams, but Cincinnati is one of his first high major offers. And like I said, I think this is one that the staff is really excited about. So they're kind of, foot on the gas, trying to build that relationship, which, I mean, the reality is like 23, they're still playing catch up on a lot of kids because everything was chaos last year and they were still trying to figure out what they had, what they need, the whole 9 yards. And now you're 24, you got a better feeling of this is what I want the program to be. This is what we have to go out and get. So I was really excited by my first viewing of Marcus Allen, and I believe I'm going to get to see him tomorrow again. So I'm excited for that as well.
From what you could tell, did it seem like him and Jizzle James were like best buds, or was it?
I couldn't. They were on different teams.
Oh, okay. I thought you said they were on the same age.
I said last week he played up.
Week. Oh, okay.
But now he's back down. But they're like, so when you get to Peach Jam, if your 16 and under team made it, you're trying to win Peach Jam.
Right.
With your 16 and under team.
There's no right.
You're not playing up the like where you'll see kids play up is like all Ohio 16s didn't make Peach Jam.
Right.
So Tyler McKinley is playing with their 17s because there's not a 16s here to play for. But if your 16s team is in the tournament, you're playing with your 16s team trying to get yourself a title.
Right. Well, which is good, more exposure and whatnot for the teams that do make it. But a good segue that you just did as well. Tyler McKinley was his team, I guess you'd say, was the reason that we pushed this back a little bit. Chad, tell us what we saw out of Tyler today.
So he's playing up on 17s. He started, which is a good sign, like a good, a 16 and under kid starting at the Peach Jam. You're not bad, right?
Right. No, you are not.
I'm looking. That's yesterday. Here's today. We'll pull up the box score.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Who else is on that team? I guess.
Devin Royal, Dalen Swain.
Does it have the Parks? Is he on this one or
no? He plays for a different AAU program and totally. Okay. Laurent Rice, George Washington, that's going to Ohio State. McKinley didn't do a ton,
right?
But he did have a moment that caught my eye.
Okay. He
was in a switch, ended up on Jared McCain. Do you know who Jared McCain is?
Enlighten those who don't.
I asked you, do you know?
No, I'm looking him up though.
He's a 5-star point guard going to Duke.
Pretty good.
Got him
pretty good.
Now.
He was very good tonight.
6'2".
Yeah, 6'2", really good handle, good shooter.
Mm-hmm.
But he got switched up on McCain, and McCain's looking at a 6'9" big man, and they like to put the work when they get the big man on him, right?
Right.
Tyler stayed solid, moved his feet, stayed choppy, and forced a turnover. Forced the ball to get kicked away, and ended up in a layup on the other end for his All Ohio Red team. So that was one thing. Like that's the little stuff you look for in these games.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you got that. You got put in that situation. You're probably going to get cooked, right? Because you're young and you're big and you're not ready. But instead, man, he stayed fundamental. He stayed where he needed to be. He stayed squared. He stayed right in front of McCain and got the tip away. And that led to the turnover. So I think overall he was 1 for 3 from the floor, 2 rebounds, 2 points, 2 assists, the steal that I just mentioned, and a turnover in 20 minutes. They played that. That was a really good team. Why not? Now, here's the problem. If you're All Ohio Red, they started 0-2. So their odds of making the tournament for the Peach Jam
pretty low.
Are not great.
Pretty
not
low.
Great.
Well, so the McKinley play sounds like one that shows up as one steal on this in the stat book, but when you go back and look at the tape, wow, that's pretty doggone good.
Yeah, like it's just the fundamentals of like, do you have the ability to stay in front of this guy, even if it's for 5 seconds? Like,
right.
And he did. So I thought that was a very solid, positive takeaway for Tyler. I thought he held his own. I didn't think he was pushed around.
Right.
He just didn't get the ball a lot.
Yeah. Which is another thing with playing up. I imagine it's the
those guys have been playing. Those guys have been playing together for 3 months, and now you're the new kid. They needed him because they don't really have a big guy. Although I tried to. They got a kid named Jacob Huggins. Or no, hold on, wrong name. They got a kid named London Maiden.
Okay.
That I want to just kidnap him.
Why is that?
He's like 6'6", 280 pounds, and he moves. Okay. Like he's got good feet, and like he's a decent athlete. And I just want to kidnap him. And I want to take him to Luke Fickell's office and drop him off and be like, you're not allowed to leave. I don't care if you've never played football before. You are missing out on an opportunity to make a shit ton of money, young man. Can you not find him, Aaron?
No, I'm looking in. I hate the recruit search portion of 24/7, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I don't think he even has one, to be honest with you.
I also don't know how to spell his last name.
Maiden.
All right.
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now.
Maiden, yeah.
All I'm seeing is a prep hoops and a max preps.
He's a giant here. Like he needs. It's unfathomable to me that somebody didn't snatch this kid and be like, "You are playing the wrong sport, young man."
Yeah, I'm looking at him. It kind of brings back some flashes of Oriente de Buried, man. I constantly think if he decided to line up as a defensive end or an offensive tackle and just use
about with Corey's hands.
Yeah, it could be a tight end.
How hard it would have been to get away from him. He just snatched you.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's a big dude that you just said. But
yeah,
I mean that just goes to show, though. Like you said, when you play up, maybe you won't get the amount of shots you will, but you have to affect the game in ways that you don't hurt the team. Just try and help them. So
don't get cooked.
Right. So McKinley did that. Obviously, stats didn't jump off, but when he's been in other AU events throughout the offseason, Chad, a few that you've been to, he has jumped off the page. So
against 16 and under competition, he's been outstanding.
Right.
Like the biggest thing for Tyler that is going to continue to be a question, and I don't think it's going to be a major problem in college. It's more of a pro prospect question.
Okay.
Is he doesn't have insane length, right?
Right.
Like he's probably got a wingspan very similar to his height. The guys that jump out at you are the guys that are 6'9" with a 7'3" wingspan, right? Like,
right.
Tyler's probably 6'9" with a 6'9" wingspan. So, like, length, and especially, like, guys that are older and more developed, that's going to give him a little bit of a problem. It has given him a little bit of a problem when he's trying and working to adjust to playing up a level in competition. But it's good for him to get these experiences now because kids that size, man, you don't run into many situations where the guy across from you is also the same size as you.
Right.
Because generally when you're playing high school basketball in your home state with your your home school, you're playing a 6'4" white kid.
Right.
And it's no chance.
Right.
So it's really good for him. And Tyler's a great kid. He's going to use this and continue to make himself better because of it. So I don't, it's not something I'm concerned about. It just, these are the growing pains you go through, especially as a big man.
Right.
When you're adjusting to more levels. Crib Keeper, I've tried boiled peanuts. Those things are nasty.
They're gross. They sound terrible. My dad likes them, but it doesn't sound good for me.
I went into it with an open mind. Like, I love peanuts. Like,
right.
My dad, when we go to baseball games, the only two things we'd really do is we get a bag of peanuts when we were walking in, and we get a big old thing of nachos.
Yep.
When we were there. And those were our two things. My hotel room is like an apartment, Dave. I got a living room. I got a kitchenette. Down the hallway, there's the bathroom. And then all the way at the end of the hall is the bedroom.
Chad, the best thing about your apartment is the fact that it has excellent internet.
Outstanding internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was wild.
Aaron,
a couple weeks ago.
When I got here, the guy that stayed late to check me in because I showed up a day early. He said their internet had been out for like 36 hours, and the internet company was like, "We can't get there until Tuesday." And he was like, "Okay." So their hotel rooms, I'm going to send you the bill,
right,
for all the money we lose because you can't get here until Tuesday and it's Sunday. And they were like, "We'll see you in the morning." And they were here Sunday morning. He was like,
the strong arm.
He was like, "You almost showed up to no internet." And I was like, "I almost had to go stay at a different hotel." Like, I don't have a choice, sir. This is work.
Our internet was spotty today, like all day. I was getting nervous until it was like came back full strength about, 7, 8 o'clock.
There we go.
So yeah, Dave, I've got my own apartment here in Augusta. I have found a new place. They have like it's all security. So you have to like use your key card to get in, but it's all open air. And then there's like a courtyard. There's like 4 propane gas grills out in the courtyard. Last night there was some dude. There's like all these little tables out through the courtyard. Some dude was just grilling up some steaks. Had a couple beers sitting out on one of the table. I was like, "Shit, this is living. This isn't work. This is vacation." I almost asked, like, "You got one of them steaks for your boy?"
Better yet, one of those beers. Can I borrow one of those beers?
I got a bottle of Four Roses that I always take on the road with me. Have a little nightcap. Take the edge off.
Ooh, the play on words intended. So yet again, Marcus Allen, is he a guy that is playing on 16 and under exclusively, or is he someone that what?
Yeah. Last week he played on 17 and under in Kansas City.
Right.
We just talked about that.
No, I know.
And this week he's back on 16 and under.
No, I didn't know if
he's been with the 16 and under all year.
Okay.
He's been with the 16 and under all year, except for last week he played up with the 17 and under.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you can move up like midweek or something.
No, he's typically been a 16 and under guy, but last week he made an exception.
So Trey Green was a name that had a point explosion. What was that, Sunday before, day before you got there?
I think that's dead.
Is that okay? Okay, all right.
I think
didn't know if that was going to be a name you were going to track tomorrow or anything.
I don't think so. I think that one has. I think that one hit its expiration date.
Okay.
Mutually, I think both sides just. I don't think it was a. It sucks because I think if things were a little different, I think it's something that might have been done 3 months ago.
Right.
But recruiting is recruiting, and some timelines are different than other timelines, and I just I don't think I'm going to be watching Trey Green this week.
Okay, and then so tomorrow, who are some highlight names that maybe you haven't gone in depth so far that you are looking forward to seeing?
I'll be back to watch Jizzle James again. He struggled a little bit today. He played maybe for a point guard at the Peach Jam. The toughest program to play is Team Takeover.
Okay.
They're kind of like, remember those old Jay Wright teams that just didn't let you breathe.
Yeah.
Right? Like they were up in you, if you will. That's how Team Takeover is. And they jumped out. Like I was watching another game. I was watching Marcus Allen. And by the time I got over to watch Jizzle James, because they played in the next time slot, it was 14-2 in the first quarter. Like they jump on you quick.
Right.
So Jizzle didn't have the greatest game. So I will be back to see him. tomorrow. There's a name for Seattle Rotary that kind of keeps popping up that I need to get a little bit more information on. A kid named Brooklyn Hicks.
Okay.
I think he was 9 of 18 from the field today in his game. They played against Boo Williams, I think. I briefly got to see about 8 minutes of that one as I was hopping between gyms.
He's 2023, right?
Yes.
Because I was looking at the targets page on 247, and I know that doesn't get constantly updated, but he was the name on there, so I kind of was looking a little further into it, and so
it's a name I think they're getting an evaluation on. I didn't see enough of them today to have a great feel one way or the other, but kind of a bigger bodied, 6'4" or so, 2-guard wing type.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly what the in there is yet.
Right.
But he's a name that, he's a name to at least monitor throughout this week. And maybe this week he's got an opportunity to jump up a little bit. So
Travis
Akil
Perry.
Watson.
Okay.
Huh?
I want to mention Travis Perry real quick. I saw
They're not here.
Oh, they aren't. I thought I saw you went with like 1 for 10 shooting or something like that. Is what someone posted on the board.
No, you're thinking of the Murray kid that's from Northern Kentucky.
Oh, is it the Murray guy? Okay.
Jacob Murray, or is that his name? I think, yeah. I don't
Meyer? Is it Jacob Meyer?
Jacob Meyer. Yeah. Sorry, Jacob Meyer. I think he might have made a mistake decommitting from Western Kentucky.
Okay.
From what I like, I think he's a guy that's a freak at the high school level, but when you put him in this setting, it hasn't translated.
Right.
So, Akil Watson, I've seen Akil Watson a couple times. Who reported an offer from Cincinnati last week. He's kind of a tweener for me. I like him. I think he was probably better today than I've seen him either at the Indianapolis EYBL or the Louisville EYBL. Probably more of a power forward, but he's really thin. What does that list him at weight-wise? I'm on a laptop, so
205.
Yeah, that's no. No, sir.
Pushing
he's 205. I'm 205, and I'm not 205.
What is
just keeping it real.
Okay.
A guy I got on my list I wanted to see, Mike Nwoko from CP3, big guy. I watched Jizzle James first half, and then I went over to watch Mike Nwoko, and he didn't play in the entire second half. So that's kind of how my evening went, bouncing back and forth between games.
Is there interest in Nwoko? I just looked him up. Looks like some Vanderbilt.
Nwoko?
Yeah.
I think it's a guy they could watch this weekend. I think it's a, you're keeping your eye on everything.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, he's gotten NC State, Maryland, Seton Hall, Miami, Oregon, all within the past couple of weeks. So,
yeah, he's a kid that, this is what happens. Kids blow up from the high school portion into that first AAU weekend of July.
Right.
And then everybody rushes to see him at the Peach Jam to get their own evaluation. So I think that's a kid we could see evaluated this week. Not that there's a lot of, smoke there yet, but as long as he's not hurt, whatever went wrong today, he didn't play at all in the second half of a really good game with CP3 and team final that one-time UC target Aiden Holloway missed a 3 at the buzzer to tie it. And it was like in and out.
So CP3 team, does Wes have a good connection there just with the, North Carolina?
Yeah, pretty solid. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know.
Did I see the kid from the Cleveland area? The Ohio Red 15 and under team is not here, nor is their 16 and under team. So unfortunately, I'm not going to get Yes. Outside of Cameron Boozer and Cooper Flagg and Aaron McKee's kid, who I assume will go play college for Aaron McKee. This is come on, tweet user. This is a Cincinnati podcast.
Well, Chad, I'm sure the staff would happily take Boozer and Flagg and all of them, but yeah, for the most part.
Demarius Owens, I think it might be who you're talking about. He wasn't in the stat sheet, so I don't think he played today. I was monitoring City Rock 17s to see if he was there. He was listed on the roster, but he was not. He didn't have any minutes. Is Collier's UCLA bound? I have no idea who Collier's is.
He's injured. I mean, you can't really watch a kid who's injured.
And I don't think if he went to a school in LA, I don't think it's going to be UCLA.
Oh.
I don't think UCLA is in the position they think they're in.
Okay.
I think the school across town might be in a better position if he goes west.
We'll leave.
You don't have to be sorry, tweet user. We're playing around. It's late. I haven't slept. Like, we're having some fun.
We are. Demarius Owens, you mentioned Western Reserve Academy.
Yeah.
Connections up there, obviously. I think their head coach.
And Western best friends.
Yeah. And Western, yeah. I don't he was the coach at New Hampton School. I did little Google searching. So I imagine that would be where the connection is. But Collier. But yeah, Collier. I mean the Reds got a Collier. So I guess one Collier's heading to Cincinnati. I can give you that much. But aside from that,
at least one.
At least one. And Arlington Page isn't playing in the Peach Jam this week either.
Yeah, he got banged up last week.
Right. And also, I mean, put 2 and 2 together. The other times that he's played without Collier, you know what I mean? So aside from that, seems like a pretty loaded time. Obviously, coaching staff will be there. If not right away on Wednesday, they'll eventually get there. And
hold on, Dave. Hold on, Dave. You'll love this.
And Jalen Curry did get off 20 tonight. Chad, right?
He got he was 2 for 12.
Okay.
He had 5 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, 3 steals in 20 minutes.
Woof.
Oh, Aaron, Dave loves this kid.
Just goes hard.
Well, he's either gonna make 5 shots or he's gonna make 12 shots, but he's always gonna take 18. Is how I've described him to Dave before.
Kobe syndrome.
Like
JD Note, pretty much.
He's excellent to just like sit and watch because it's a show. It's an absolute show.
North Carolina connection, Jalen Curry. Here we go.
Dave said he should have shot.
Should have shot more. A weak display of aggression tonight at the.
Is that what Dave said? Should have shot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's he still doing up anyway?
That's a good question, Dave. What are you still doing up?
Yeah, Dave. What's going on, man? Everything good over there? But aside from that, I'm sure you'll have more as the week progresses. I mean, a lot of names, man. Just go and rewind. You can.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about Peach Jam, man.
Yeah, they're all there. So
everybody's here. So like it's fun because there's something to watch pretty much at every time slot, and if there's not, then you go watch a 5-star like elite kid just to say
have fun.
I've seen that kid.
Right. Realignment sources. Oh, Dave, we're about to dive into that here shortly. But yeah, I mean, it's Peach Jam. Obviously, it'll bring a lot out of it, and obviously some names that kind of will rise up at the right time. So continue locked in, Chad, and I believe we're gonna continue to hear more and more names as it carries on. Obviously, the Jizzle James mentioned, and the fact that you're harping on Marcus Allen a lot. I think if people can read the tea leaves, dive into those names and
you don't have to read the tea leaves. I'm telling you, That is going to be a high priority in 2024.
Well, if you love your tea like extra strong, just read them and then drink it. I mean, that's the best thing right there. Aside from that, anything else as far as the peach jam? I know you're going to get your peaches from the Palmetto State, South Carolina. The Palmetto State was able to
Correct.
have that one for you as well. But aside from that, that's basketball recruiting, and I imagine still nothing more from the Isaiah Collier recruitment or anything. I'm sure it's kind of stand pat as is. So we'll move along, head into football chat, and of course, right before we drop the pod, a little bit of news coming out of the worldwide leader, I guess we want to call them, ESPN, Pete Thamel. We'll just say Pete Thamel. We don't have to really mention the other part, but Thamel came out and mentioned that the Big 12 and the Pac-12 will not partner as talks have officially ended. Have officially ended. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what everyone could expect and exactly what is coming out of Pete Thamel's mouth, which means it's Bible, which means we turn to Aaron Smith. Aaron, you read the article.
Yeah.
And you have been the guy who brought up the Survivor. And it seems as if certain people are kind of they aren't a part of the group. They're getting pushed out. It looks like the tribe has spoken on a little bit of some of the smaller Pac-12 teams, if you will.
See, but people were scrambling, right? The Pac-12 was certainly scrambling, trying to stay on the island.
Right.
So much, in fact, that media were almost saying like anyone would be lucky to join the Pac-12 in this whole scenario, whether it was the Big 12 joining the Pac-12, which that was never going to happen.
No.
I don't know. I mean, it just seems like it's been a love fest for the media perspective for the Pac-12 for the last like 3 weeks. And I don't understand it. I don't know if it's because they're out in California.
It's nostalgia.
I don't know if it's because they're out in California. I don't know if it's because
It's USC Bowl. It's nostalgia.
USC, UCLA leaving, all that. I mean, you're trying to hold on to a dying breed here, but it just never made sense to me to have anyone join the Pac-12 as trying to create a new, a third, as far as trying to align yourself to be the third best conference. It just certainly never made sense to me. And now you have these talks dying. Why? Because they got the evaluations. They know that if the Pac-12 in its entirety joins the Big 12, it doesn't bring anything to the table. Not as far as what these individual universities are going to be paid, because you have to deal with all the dead weight that comes with the rest of the Pac-12. The reason that no one is going to be joining the Pac-12. So I don't know. This was, yes, it's good to finally put the nail in the coffin on those talks, but I didn't ever put a whole lot of seriousness into the rumors that were the Pac-12 and the Big 12 looking for a merger. So I don't know. What were your thoughts on when you saw?
Oh, I mean, whatever conference or grouping or whatever has Oregon State and Washington State with it, it's going to be very difficult to bring as a whole into whatever conference or whatever situation they're trying to get into. So, I mean, the fact that you've been able to see the SEC and the Big Ten just pick and choose the top schools that they want, that should be what the Big 12 sees and what the ACC potentially sees and what the SEC and the Big Ten still see. There's no need to have this full merger. There's no need for any of that. When you have the ability to literally pick and choose who you want in order to benefit you as a whole.
I don't see a reason anyone would go join the ACC right now unless they're a school that is currently receiving AAC money or less and has no future seeing any more than that money, because they're not going to be renegotiating until 2035.
No, I don't know that that's true, Aaron.
No?
I think they can if they get new members, they can renegotiate without opening the grant of rights, I believe. Like, the Big 12 grant of rights didn't expire. Like, if the Big 12, if adding members voided your grant of rights, then Texas and Oklahoma would be playing in the SEC starting July 1st, 2023, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Logically, like that makes sense, right?
I mean, you even saw Cincinnati's name get tossed around a little bit in regards to
From Pete Thamel.
from Pete Thamel in regards to the ACC. So
Dot dot dot.
I think things can be moved around and worked out. Because I don't think anyone has a true, real answer of what the dominoes are if certain things come into effect. Because it's a fluid market, it's a fluid situation, and I mean it just. I mean, and then you see the Notre Dame conversation as well this today. It's just I feel like there's still so many quote unquote sources, but when Pete Thamel comes out and says something, you do have to mention it. The Notre Dame talk is a $75 million is their target
Buyout.
price.
That's their target for what that's their target for what they want to make a year in media.
And then what it was, Dennis Dodd mentioned the Big 12 affiliate.
I'm done with that guy. I'm done with that guy. That guy's been the leader on the Pac-12 being the God's gift conference of late.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here, Dennis Dodd.
I'm not a big Dennis Dodd guy.
Right.
I didn't know who he was until a couple weeks ago, and I'm all the way out on him.
I know he's a 24/7 guy, but that's not my jam. Dennis Dodd.
Right. Good old Dennis Dodd. But as we did mention though, Pete Thamel did throw out the connection between Cincinnati and the ACC. It was early morning. Dave did retweet it.
Will, whoever told you that, never listen to them again.
What did he say?
It's on the screen.
On your screen.
I know. I'm looking up other things.
Crazy rumor going around. ESPN located in Orlando wants UCF in the SEC.
Oh, wow.
ESPN is not located in Orlando. Disney is located in Orlando. ESPN is located in Bristol, Connecticut.
So, if you said Disney, then it's a maybe.
Ask yourself, why would they want UCF? They have Florida,
right?
Who UCF wants to be. Like, they have Big Brother. They don't need UCF. It's like a crazy rumor going around. Big Ten, located in Indianapolis, wants Cincinnati in the Big Ten. No, they don't.
Right.
No,
Oregon, run by Nike, wants every single school. But no, I mean, from the Pete Thamel article this morning, it said that does obviously the Pac-12 schools and all their negotiating windows, how it's obviously looking very bleak without UCLA and USC. He said, does that allow ACC to make a targeted strike at the best available from the Pac-12 and then take either 2 or 4 others? And those could be either 2 or all of these. And he specifically mentioned Arizona State, Colorado, TCU, and then Cincinnati.
It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I know it's Pete reporting it, so he's hearing something. He doesn't put his name on much that isn't of no value.
Well, that's why we always rely on him, right?
Sure. That's he's not just throwing shit at the wall. But I don't know. Those additions just seem odd. I guess it's trying to get your footprint in the Ohio market, in the Texas market.
Well, and there is some logic on Cincinnati in the ACC because they're
that one makes sense of the 4.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, just seeing Cincinnati's name listed as an potential ACC ad just makes me happy because, you don't want to be the one left outside looking in. And if Pete Thamel's mentioning the Bearcats who are already in the Big 12 as a potential further addition to the ACC, sounds like some pretty solid footing that the Bearcats are currently in. So, I mean, the ball continues to roll. I don't think there was any definitive news coming out on realignment other than the fact that Pac-12 will probably be no mas, even if they want to go out and add a San Diego State and whoever else it is and try and fluff them up as the next big thing. But it just doesn't seem as if there's anything truly coming out other than Big 12 being proactive but not being dumb, which is exactly what you want to hear. as a member of the Big 12, and then obviously every conference still trying to make moves to further better themselves. And that is realignment, man. I mean, it's weird. It is weird. Had a lot of realignment convos up in Michigan and this past weekend, and it's all just everyone has the same thoughts on it. That it's just crazy, tearing things up, and it's money, 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 all about money. You see in the Big 12 or ACC. Man, it's a hard one.
I don't think it's that hard.
It's hard.
Are we talking Big 12 and then adding those potential teams out of the Pac-12, or just Big 12 as it's currently constructed? Money-wise, I would want the Big 12, but if the ACC can rework their contract and add teams to further boost up their potential earning, then maybe ACC, if it's that direction. But
sure,
I'm all in on the Big 12. I think that it's the best move, period.
Yeah.
Dot.
No
I
remaining.
think the Big 12 is the right spot for where things are headed.
Yeah, I agree. And hopefully they just add the 4 names that have been listed and go on from there. I see conference realignment has been shut. Door has been closed. So that means we move on to what was this past weekend in recruiting and commitments. Malik Elzy announces he committed to the Bearcats. Obviously, a massive, massive get. One that is only further strengthening what is turning into a huge strength of the Bearcats football program, which is the wide receiver room. It's just
Mike Brown has been what a freaking hire when you consider where that room was, and where it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Brown was a massive, massive addition for this staff because he is killing it.
Having a guy from the NFL simply does not hurt.
No.
And you got to give Gino a lot of credit. Gino's the power guy for Chicago on this staff. So Gino got in the door, got Mike Brown a seat at the table, and Gino and Mike Brown were able to get the job done. So you got to give them both a ton of credit on Malik Elzy.
Yeah.
Coffees for closers.
I mean, it is crazy though, because I'm sure Illinois threw everything they possibly could at him. Because it seems as if all the schools around Cincinnati that have not felt this sort of recruiting push and now are losing multiple targets to Cincinnati, they got to be scrambling. And when it comes to scrambling, and Cincinnati's still the one pulling out the recruiting victories more often than not, it's a huge thing to look forward to, and a huge thing that the staff has just continued to nail down. Elzy's he'll be, if not the top prospect in the 2023 class for the Bearcats, unless they're able to pull in someone. I think he's second behind Day McCullough right now. But I mean, he tore up the 7-on-7s. He's, primed for a monster season next year in high school. So it's gonna be awesome to see. But yet again, Chad and Aaron, would you want to go play for the Fighting Illini in the Big Ten, or ride on this train that is currently the Cincinnati football program?
I mean, that's a pretty easy one.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Brett Bielema, he's got a lot of things going on there, but one of those,
none of them good.
One of those is definitely not throwing the football around and having a fun atmosphere. But aside from that, it's a big commitment.
Yes.
I don't know. Coming out of it, obviously, you would have wanted to have 2 of the wide receivers that were committing this weekend, but Elzy is an unbelievable coup and one that should be the only focus in my eyes coming out of the recruiting weekend.
Yeah, I don't know of anything else that happened.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah, I was in Michigan, had very, very poor service. So yeah, I only saw the Elzy commitment, and then that was it.
We had a baby.
Family stuff.
Yeah, Aaron had a baby. Aaron saw Elzy's name and commitment, and he was like, "All right, let's get this baby out." And then the rest of the weekend didn't mean anything. Chad, same with you. You were going to get your peaches, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Aaron held his child for the first time
Yeah.
on Saturday. Like
I
that's
mean,
We almost went with Malik Elsie Smith, but it just didn't have the same ring to it.
ooh.
As a
Well,
girl,
if it
it would
was
have
a
been
boy.
Oh,
yeah,
you
right.
could've
As a girl,
done
it would have been. As a girl, it would have been weird.
Yeah.
Malika. Elzarine.
Elsa. You could have called her Elsa.
You could have. See.
Let it go.
Okay, we'll let this one go. Very good. I like it. Segue. But yeah.
Mailbag.
Chad, just real quick, Aaron, real quick. Football recruiting front. Elsie commits. I don't think that there's any other, commitment dates set for the other high priority targets that are on the list. But aside from that, obviously, article was put up, I believe it was last week or a couple weeks ago, of who the top priority targets are still in the 2023 class. And I don't think anything changed other than one of them committing and the other one just kind of, whatever. And then here we are, 15th, number 15 class right now. As more commitments fall other places, it expected the slide, but a huge commitment in Malik Elsie, and one that will only get better as he tears up the scene on the high school level next year. Mailbag time.
No updates on Jalen Thompson at the moment.
Okay.
I think this one comes down to UC and Michigan State. I know there's been some buzz on Ohio State. I think this is Bearcats and Spartans. I don't have a good hint or a good clue for which way I think it falls, but I think Cincinnati has done a great job, and they're in the mix for a quality 4-star defensive end. When I have more, you will have more. That's why you subscribe and join BearcatJournal.com, and you don't come here always looking to get the milk for free.
One of the things, real quick before we close out the Malik Elsie talk, is in his commitment story and everything was just the mention that he had that he's already in contact with Brady Dragish and Amari Snowden. Those are two Michigan guys, two guys that are saying we're not done. We got to keep bringing these other guys in. So it's not too hard to connect the dots there. That
they're working on Jalen Thompson.
They're going hard on Jalen Thompson. So definitely fun. Definitely fun. All right, Mailbag.
Oh, timestamp.
If you'd like to sponsor the timestamp, tweet user, you keep telling me you'll subscribe soon. Put your money where your mouth is, bro.
Tweet user on the YouTube. Oh my dog.
All right.
Yeah.
Very
if you'd like to sponsor the timestamps or the mailbag, hit me up. DMs, private messages. Whatever.
All right. Cool. Football mailbag starting off. Please rank from least to most in scrimmage yards this year. Kiner, Tucker, Wiley, Mardner, Mateer, and McClelland. Or is someone outside this group going to lead this category?
Tyler Scott.
Most scrimmage yards this
Trey
year.
Tucker.
Trey Tucker's on there. He's number 2.
Tucker. Okay. Tyler Scott's, if not at the top of the list, very close. I'd probably go Kiner because I think he's going to get the ball the most.
Yep.
But Mardner might be the sleeper just because he's, the splash guy, the big play,
right
down the field, throw it up and go get it. Wiley, you wonder does Lenny cut into that some? I don't think it's going to be Shaman.
Can Wiley avoid the injury bug this year?
Sure. And to lead the team in yards, like you're going to have to get the ball a lot, and the ball's going to go to both of those tight ends a lot. So that's going to.
Kiner's the answer first.
I think Kiner's the answer.
There's no doubt.
If I had somebody in this list, it would be Mardner. That's kind of the sleeper. If somebody outside of this list, Tyler Scott's
Thompson,
gonna be really good this year, man. Tyler Scott's going to be really good this year. Jaden Thompson, I think, is going to be really good as well. I don't know if he's going to be number 1.
Right. Well, no, but I'm saying he'd fall in that Mardner range.
Yeah.
Kind of. I think Mardner's more take the top off, but I think Thompson will have more catches and and opportunities, if you will, unless Marner just jumps off the page and camp and just demolishes. And Chuck, I just hope Chuck has a couple real good splash plays. That's what I want to see out of Chuck. I don't think he's going to be high volume by any means, but some splash plays would be awesome to see. I think Wiley could blow up. I think they want to get the ball to Josh Wiley, and I know the Lenny T thing, but I don't know if they develop some things for Josh and get him the ball, he's going to go out and get chunk yardage. But I think
Chris Scott's going to be effective. Like, I love Chris Scott, but he's not going to lead the team in scrimmage yards.
No.
Side note, we do need to get views up on Switch so people can hit subscribe. For people who are using YouTube on your phones, if you use Twitch, you can actually do other things on your phones while sliding that video to the corner of your phone, as opposed to YouTube where you cannot do that. Just saying. The next question from the mailbag. Would you agree with the comment that Prater has developed a lot more than where he was about a year ago?
Yes, because if not, then Ben Bryant would already be the starting quarterback.
Well, I think you could make that argument for a lot of guys on the team, that most people have developed.
That's the point of this. That's how this program operates.
If you're not developing, then you're not going to
in the transfer portal.
I didn't want to say it.
I mean, I think it's pretty blatantly obvious that Evan Prater has developed quite a lot. I think if you look at anything Chad's written from practice reports, anything that Brady has mentioned from the weight room and this, that, and the other, everything is coming up positive for Prater. Let's just see how his throws on a consistent basis are looking in camp compared to how Ben goes out there and controls things as well.
Will, calm down. We're trying to get Twitch users up.
I just want to emphasize the fact that if Prater was not like actually developing and all of that, I mean, we aren't just saying that he's developing just to make sure that people think that there's a quarterback controversy. He's actually very much improved. Like,
here's something I need people to understand. We're just kidding, Will. It's okay. Here's something I need people to understand. There is nothing more that I want in everything I say than to be right. And if being right includes saying Evan's not progressing at the point that he needs to, and that Ben Bryant is pulling away, I would say that, because if that was what was happening, it would make me right. That's the whole point of like this operation, right? Like, Brent knows, Aaron knows, we've had many talks on stuff where I'm like, guys, I think you make a great point, but I don't know that it's right. Like, and the backbone of how BCJ has been built is on being right. So if Evan wasn't performing to the level of being a serious factor in this competition, then I would tell you guys that.
Well, and you've been bullish on Bryant since he returned, whereas Brent and I feel like have been more Team Prater. But yeah,
I'm Team Right, Aaron. That's what I'm getting at.
Listen,
anybody.
I get it. I'm just saying we felt a little stronger about Prater winning the position early on. You felt stronger on Bryant, and now we're all just, we don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows, because it's a legit competition. Like, this isn't just stuff to confuse Arkansas or to drive clicks or anything stupid. Like,
here's the thing.
Legit.
I've talked to the people making the decisions. They want there to be an obvious answer. Because if there's an obvious answer, then they can just move forward, and whoever's number one becomes number one and gets the number one snaps and assumes all the responsibilities of being QB1. Right now, they're in a place where there's not separation between the two. So that means you have to go into camp and treat them both as QB1 and QB2, right?
They're getting half the snaps as QB1.
Exactly.
You're getting, but in the end, the fact of the matter is this: They both could lead the team in
Sure.
their own way. And
Sure.
it's just who's going to lead to a win. And we've seen Luke. That's the way he does it. Whoever's going to lead the team to a win, he's going to put them out there. And who knows if that player ends up showing themselves on the third drive down in Fayetteville and they leads the Bearcats to a big win and then continues on, or if that guy changes midway through the season after this, that, and the other, who knows? But it seems as if it's a huge comp right now.
And I just want to point out that that's because Aaron is he records everything on a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, for sure.
That's his go-to piece of equipment.
That's it. Chad, what's the thing that makes you the most excited about 2024 recruiting, and what aspect of recruiting has most led to their success?
Having a legit seat at the table, like not having to overcome everything that they've had to overcome to get to this point. That's more exciting than anything.
Being able to say the words Big 12.
Being able to just like not have to deal with constantly convincing kids that it's not a big deal that they're going to have to play in the American Athletic Conference, when in your heart, it's a big deal that they're going to have to play in the American Athletic Conference. Like that's what's got me the most excited, because that's what changes the trajectory. What aspect has led to their success? They just put 9 guys in the NFL. One of them was a 4-star. Most of them were not high 3 stars. Most of them were middle to low 3 stars.
One wasn't ranked.
One wasn't ranked
at all.
And he might be. I had this conversation with a couple people. Outside of Sauce, Brian Cook is going to play in the NFL for a long fucking time. Like, that dude is going to be a starter as long as he stays. Like, health is the obvious, like,
Right.
Sure,
unknown.
Yeah.
But if he stays healthy, that dude is going to be a starting safety getting a big contract. Like, we're talking about Jesse Bates. That's going to be Brian Cook in 4 years, because that dude is a star. Like, that dude is everything you want in a football player. Fast, tough, smart. You guys don't know this. So Thursday, when we were at UC, they had like the TBT press conference. And then those guys had a practice, and then UC had a practice. We're not allowed at the UC like summer workouts. So we had some time to burn. So Justin Williams and I saw some bodies on the football field when we parked. So we're like, let's go out and check out what's going on the football field. They were doing the steps, which this is something that they do every summer after Squad Fest, before camp. They run the steps of Nippert Stadium. And each position group has a lane, like a row, right? And they do the steps a certain number of times. And there's a position group that wins. There's a position group that loses, da-da-da-da-da. You know who was encouraging the defensive line the entire time that they were running the steps? You know, it was side by side with the Godfather, Dante Corleone, who's down to 320 pounds. And a year ago, couldn't go back down the steps. He went up the steps, and that was it. Brian Cook. Cook was just in town and had to get some work in, wanted to get some work in, and was out there. Like, I expect him at some point in time to be Cincinnati's safeties coach. Like 10 years from now, 15 years from now, Brian Cook is going to, it might not be Cincinnati. Who knows? He's going to be Luke Fickell's safeties coach at some point in time, because everybody in the program fucking loves that dude and everything he's about. I still can't get over that he doesn't have the hair anymore, and he doesn't scare me nearly as much without the Predator locks.
Right.
But he was right there. It was a 90-degree day. He was out there with the D lineman, like getting them through. The D lineman finished. Corleone got the job done up and down the steps. I think they go 5 times.
Yeah.
I might be wrong on that. Next time we'll ask Brady how many up and downs they do when they do the steps. But, man, I love Brian Cook. And Brian Cook is why they have success in recruiting. Because they can tell anybody, we did it with this guy that nobody wanted. And we put him in the 3rd round with one of the top 3 franchises in the NFL. And that dude's going to go win rings. You want to do that? Come play for us.
Second round, sorry.
And the fact that in his introductory press conference with Kansas City's media, someone was like, you know, you were battling some injuries. How long is it going to take until you're back? And he was like, if we had practice tomorrow, I'd be out there. So
Yeah.
it's just like
He did that at UC every week.
He's
We
serious.
talked about that a
He said,
million times.
I'm going to do this.
Right.
But another thing for me is the fact that the evidence is there already that sure that there have been some coaching changes amongst the staff for the Bearcats, but they just don't skip a beat. They keep getting better, which means that the foundation and the culture that's been established is something
real.
that is already there, and people see.
Go ahead. Sorry.
And people see past, you know, the minor changes here and there because it's the culture that's already been built, and the team and the players that are on the team that builds the program up more than any other program really out there right now.
I hate the word culture because far too often it's fake as shit. It's not fake for Luke Fickell. It means something.
No. Yeah.
All right. Do you think Ben Bryant returning this year was always the plan, or is that something that just developed this offseason?
No comment. Next question. I do have something on that, Aaron. I will say this. I think he missed it. Like I think the intentions were pure. Eastern Michigan was where his dad played, right? Like he went home essentially to his dad's alma mater.
Yeah.
But I think when he got there, it sets in that this place is special. Like Ben Bryant is the ultimate example of what we've talked about all along about what Luke Fickell has built, because he went somewhere else and he went, oh shit. Like
as a starter, he would have been, without it, hands down, no doubt, you are the starter.
He'd have been conference first team All MAC or second team All MAC. Like it would have been that. There's places grading him out as like a top 10 senior quarterback in the country.
Yeah.
He would have been the best quarterback or second best quarterback in the MAC. Like he had it all laid out. But I think from what I've heard and understood throughout this process, it didn't take long once he got to Eastern Michigan to just be like, man, I'm this isn't home. This isn't
one of these
my
things.
brothers. This isn't my program.
One of these things is not like the other, right?
Right. That's another testament to what Luke has built.
I also think Ben's smart enough to kind of calculate out that he's like, okay, I go here 1 year.
No, but I'm telling you, Brent, I don't think it was like that.
No. But I mean, if it's not one tiny thing that was in his brain, then I think that's a little. I don't think it's too hard to calculate. Okay, I can go here and just see how it is because I want to play. I want to get on the field. But I know Dez is going to the NFL after this season, and
I don't think when he left, it was even a thought in his mind
that he'd be back. Yeah,
that he'd be back. I don't think that was
just that there's no like definitive like who was going to be the starter at Cincinnati other than the potential for Evan Prater to roll in.
Yeah, I don't think it was like I'm gonna go down to the minors for a year and get my curveball in order. I don't think it was like that. I think it was I need to go because there's not a spot
on the field.
Yeah. I need to get on the field. I need to play to accomplish my dreams. I really don't think when he left there was like the door's open for me to come back. I think it's when he left.
Yeah,
he realized these are my guys. That's my team. That's my program.
Right.
And where I'm at doesn't match up to where I was.
Well, then maybe
That's
that's
not Eastern Michigan's fault. You're Eastern
No.
Michigan in the fucking MAC.
right. Mashing.
All right. EA's NCAA College Football 24 will drop next July 10th or 11th, 2023. The rumors are that our Bearcats will start the game as a 5-star team, with 6 stars being the max for any team. That's sweet. Not
That
a
is
question,
sweet.
just a simple observation.
Top
But
10 program.
I
Sweet.
can't wait. I'm literally at midnight that night. I'm gonna be up until the sun rises playing NCAA football.
No, you're not.
Cannot wait. Yes, I will.
No, you're not. You're
Just
gonna have
you
a 1-year-old.
That's a year away. It'll be fine. It's for it's research for work. Favorite higher ground meal.
So we have not had all the higher ground meals because we generally don't get the dinner. We get the lunch meals because most of the time we're there for morning practice. Practice gets done around 11:30, 12 o'clock. We do interviews. We get a meal. I think it's pretty easily the Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich of the lunch meals.
It's the only thing I've had, so I have nothing to line it up against.
You haven't had anything else? That was it? I thought
That
you
was
went a couple times.
No, you had more. You
You're
were with
right.
me.
You're right. I forgot about that. I think I got it was a Friday and it was like leftovers.
No, we had
No,
like
they were-
buffalo chicken wraps and like
Yeah.
I don't even recall that. So maybe
per-
it was.
personal pizzas.
The
Chicken
deal
tenders.
was that the Monterey Ranch chicken sandwiches are so good that what you had the second time just didn't
I
even
don't
register.
even remember it. Right.
Right.
The Monterey Ranch chicken sandwiches are
Legit.
phenomenal.
Mhm.
So that's I've been at night a couple times, and the nighttime stuff it's obviously like it's dinner, so it's real deal, like, you know, multi course dinner, but
I hear the taco bar is phenomenal.
There we
I
go.
didn't have that.
So moving on to basketball. That was the football portion of the mailbag. The basketball portion is Drake Powell pretty much a lock for UNC with them offering. And also for 2023, pretty safe in saying, is it
Fredrickson.
I was going to say it looks like Fredrickson. Fredrickson, Meyer, and Autry are the 3 in play for shooting guard.
When North Carolina offers a North Carolina kid, kind of is what it is. Like,
Game blouses.
not necessarily, because you don't know exactly how, like, are they just
Terminable
setting the
offer.
bait, right? Like, because they know he's the number 3 player in North Carolina, and now Gigi Jackson decommitted from North Carolina and is, from what I understand, going to reclassify to 2022, and North Carolina didn't have any scholarships. That means that Drake Powell moves up to number 2 in the class in North Carolina in 2023. Do I think Cincinnati is going to beat out North Carolina for a North Carolina kid? I think that would be very difficult. I'm going out on a limb. I think it'd be very difficult. It's not pretty safe saying anything about shooting guard for 2023 because I don't know that they're going to take one. Like, I think they're keeping their options open and looking at shooting guards or combo guards.
Mhm.
I think we'll see Wes take a look at Fredrickson this week.
Is it safe to say we have no clue how many scholarships are even going to be on the table
There might
for
be
next
8
year?
plus scholarships available. Like, realistically, there's 4 super seniors and 4 seniors, and then 5 guys that could enter the transfer portal. Like, we could be looking at almost a complete roster overhaul regardless of what happens.
And Wes is the head coach of the Hornets. Just
Right. Like, I don't think those 3 names are like Meyer. I don't know that he's good enough. Like, he's struggled the past couple weeks. I know he wants to be a Bearcat. That doesn't mean you get to be a Bearcat. Fredrickson, if you've looked at him, his offers are declining. Like, there are mid-majors jumping into that recruitment. So you got to be careful with that one. I think Wes goes and gets a look at him. I think he gets a look at Meyer. I know they really like Trey Autry. I don't know that they're ready to go all in on him. So, no, I don't think it's safe in saying that at all. I think that's just the names we've talked about most recently. So those are the names everybody wants to like Cohen Carr, I guess, isn't like a guard, a combo guard. I would take Cohen Carr over all three of those guys and not think twice.
He's your favorite kid.
Get Cohen Carr.
He's your favorite kid out of the class, though, right?
No, but
No?
I love him.
Okay.
Because I think do you know what flubber is, Aaron?
Like the movie with Robin Williams?
Yes, the movie.
It's a movie that was like 30 years before that, but then Robin Williams remade it. Cohen Carr has flubber in his shoes. I'm convinced of it. He had one tonight that I had no clue that he was even, like, dunking was even an option. And next thing I know, his head is on the rim. Like, he's just so fun to watch. Now, his three-point shot is a long way off. But he's another kid I would like to kidnap and see what he could do at tight end, because he's 6'5", and he's a freak athlete. Is it bad that me, a basketball guy, keeps wanting to change these guys to football players?
Now you understand how Ethan Wright became a safety, right?
Well, that's Luke taking football players and making them defensive football. He's one step ahead of me on the on the learning curve. He's already up here. I'm still down here.
All right. Create a competitive starting five with the current or past UC walk-ons. And D Monk says his starting five would be Meach, Meeker, Eppensteiner, Tobler, and Barwin.
CJ Anthony. Because I think CJ Anthony could legit play at a pretty solid program at point guard.
So you're taking Meach out?
Yeah. Was Meach even a point guard? Was he like, I don't know that he was a point guard or a.
I'm looking at the five as they stand.
I know. I'm just I don't know that Meach was like even as a, I don't know that he was like a point guard.
I mean, even a kid from last year, West just gushes over the kid that graduated. Yeah, I'm picturing little Frodo Baggins.
Who? Oh, from last year?
I feel so bad because he's going to be so mad if he sees this that I fucking am spacing on his name.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you guys keep thinking about it.
Who graduated last year off the bench?
Right. You can't save us here?
I mean, you want me to?
Yeah.
Sam Martin.
Yes.
Sam Martin.
Thank you.
Sam could play point guard, but I'd probably go CJ Anthony at the one.
Was Sam better than Meek?
Well, Sam was little. He was a point guard.
Sam would have to be point guard.
If you're going to talk Meach, I think Meach would be in this conversation.
I'm talking Meeker. Was Sam better than Meeker?
As a two guard? No.
Okay. Well,
what I'm getting to is Meach would be in this conversation 2-3 with Meeker and Eppensteiner. Would be my point. What, 80? Wasn't 80 Jackson the guy that the football player that hit the
shot against
game winner against Minnesota? Like, don't we have to put him in this conversation for 2-3?
Yes.
Tobler's my 4. I'll fight you to the death if you don't have Tobler in this top 5.
I mean, Tobler drained that shot against Houston on senior night.
Yeah, you have to have Barwin at 5. What do we do with Ron Allen? Doesn't Ron Allen have to be in here somewhere?
He got a scholarship,
but he wasn't. He didn't. He was Hurricane Katrina. He literally had nowhere to go.
Right, but he was on scholarship.
Eventually, a lot of these guys were eventually on scholarship.
A lot.
Ron Allen was not on scholarship when he got here. It was just that ultimately everybody left and they had to give scholarships to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Allen's in the mix. All right. One, CJ Anthony. Two, Meeker.
Would you put in old Banksy since he started over Tari Eason?
How do you not? Three Banks because he started a game over Tari Eason, which may be the most crazy fucking thing in the history of the entire program.
And it wasn't a senior game.
No. We got two options here. Rob Banks or Tari Eason. Give me Rob. Hey.
That's the worst thing.
Hey, let's rob some fucking banks.
Oh my god.
Whenever I see Tari Eason brought in or brought up, he was named to the All Summer League team. I just have this, and I'm not talking down about Rob Banks, but I have this picture.
We know who you're talking down about.
Of Rob Banks, and it says Legion of Excellence, UC Rob Banks, and I just send that to my friends, and it's Rob Banks started over Tari Eason, and they were playing Tari at the 5 like we were a high school team. It's like, come on.
Let's rob some fucking banks.
All right, that's enough on that topic. We'd love to hear more about the upcoming opportunity Hensley has to play on a select team, as well as what his best case for a role in this year's more stacked UC team is.
I don't know a ton about this yet. It is a group of American players generally entering their second or third season in college. So
it's a weird thing, to be honest.
So underclassmen, like on the verge of upperclassmen, there's this committee that selects them. Apparently, like 6 years ago, they contacted Wes. Wes sent a couple guys. Those guys played well, so they've stayed in contact. It was actually supposed to be 2. I won't say who the second is supposed to be because I'll get into it down the road. But it ended up just being Jarrett Hensley. They go 2 days in New York for like a training camp, and they go to Barcelona for 7 days, and they play against club teams. So he's going to get high-level coaching. He's going to play with high-level college players. I don't have the full details on it yet. This is something I just learned about Thursday night. But it's coming up in August, so it's getting here soon.
It's the same thing as the 1992 Dream Team. They're like doing the same path that they did, and they're like exhibition tour, playing the same teams or programs. I mean, yeah, like the teams, the team has a lot of like interesting, like Ethan Morton from Purdue. Like he didn't start last year. He played a little bit here and there. I mean, like Brandon Newman's another player from Purdue who kind of didn't play. John Hughley, remember that name from Pittsburgh? I mean, there's no like, dominant players on the roster. Jalen Blake's from Duke. It'll be interesting. I think it'll be a chance for him, for Jarrett Hensley to kind of showcase what he can do. Yeah. If given the opportunity. So yeah, what is it? So says this year's team will follow in the sneakers of the 1992 USA Olympic Dream Team, with the team of college players taking part in games in Barcelona, Spain, which is the site of the 1992 Olympics. So
check.
It's kind of, I guess, just what the anniversary, the 30-year anniversary. Jeez, 30-year anniversary of that. So,
I'm old as shit. Jared was excited about it when I talked to him. Like he was really looking forward to it.
As far as his role on the team next year, I'm bullish on Jarrett Hensley. I mean,
I like him a lot, man. I like him a lot.
I think he showed a lot at the end of the year last year, and I think Wes kind of also showed some trust in him. And some of it was probably by default because of the Newman was battling some injuries and things like that. But I mean, Jarrett was playing through an injury, and I'm very high on what he can bring to the team. And if his shots knocking down at a consistent rate, he already has the athleticism, and he's getting better and better in the weight room. I mean, shoot, I think he has a chance to really do something well.
I'd be surprised if his numbers aren't close to double what they were last year.
Yeah.
Minutes anyway.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, his numbers weren't great. He didn't start scoring until like towards the end of the year. But yeah, I could see. I mean, minutes.
Minutes will lead to all the other numbers, of course.
Here's the biggest thing for me. I think when you see him checking the game, you're going to feel pretty confident that like things are good, right? Like for me, that's like the beginning of the progression of a guy's career is when you see him checking the game, you're like, all right, let's see what Jared can do. Not like, oh boy, we got to get through these next 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, I felt that way towards the end of the year. Yeah, like at Houston, he kind of was coming out a little bit.
Yeah, that's when he broke his record.
Right, and then at SMU, he threw down that monster dunk, but I thought he had a pretty good game overall, and kind of just you saw him continue to get better.
Great kid that works his ass off.
Right.
All right. Who would win and why? Finney, DeJulius, Skillings, Davenport, Lock-in with a bench of Hensley and Sage versus Micah Adams-Woods, Anthony, Nolly, Newman, Ezikpe, and a bench of Reed and Odie.
The team that scores more points.
There you go. Great answer.
Easy way out.
I will also say this. I have been to the last 2 open gyms, including an open gym that produced like 4 NBA guys, and David DeJulius is undefeated. So I would take the team with David DeJulius.
All right.
Got that dog in him, man. Got that dog.
That's where he's at.
And Skillings, man. Whew. Huh. Love when Berg says something good about somebody. It makes me feel like, it's not just rosy-colored glasses. So,
look, Berg watched last year. He watched the practice last year, and he's like, this team sucks. I'm out.
Still got to watch every game, though, Berg. Come on.
No, you don't.
He's not feeling that. He's not feeling that way this year.
Look, Brent. You talk walking a mile in somebody's shoes. You walk a mile in those shoes and get back to me.
I understand.
On that.
I understand. Okay. I understand.
All right. Moving on. Last part of the mailbag. Of course, it was Skins who wanted to wish me well as a father, asked for my address, and that made me concerned. And I don't know that he's actually trying to send me a gift. Says he's retiring.
He's sending you a gift that is like a pipe bomb.
It's right. It's not allowed by the U.S. Postal Service.
Did you DM the address?
No.
You should, just to see. My guess is it would be like a glitter bomb where you would open up and it would just.
Yeah, it sounds great. Or like. Good, like the exploding bag of dicks that they have. Like that's a thing that you can do.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's like all these little. It's stupid.
Now you're just giving them ideas.
Yeah. He was anyway. Glitter. Now you're gonna get a bunch of. Yeah.
He did say, "Congrats, Aaron, in honor of your first child being born. That you know of. I'm ending my vendetta to put you 6 feet down. I do need an address so I can deliver the baby gift. So he can deliver it. Sure. Yeah. That's okay." On to rapid fire. Is it okay to disown someone who gives you what you think are mashed potatoes and they are made out of cauliflower?
Yes. Never talk to that person again. And I like cauliflower.
I'm okay with that. Mashed potatoes are one of my top 5 foods ever. Don't even need gravy. Just mashed potatoes. If they're done right, you don't need gravy. Mashed potatoes are fantastic.
But what if you bite into it and you eat the whole thing and you thought it was mashed potatoes? And a week later, you found out it was cauliflower.
Then your palate's broken.
And you can still hate that person forever.
Sure.
Like, that's just like, look, I'm sorry, but like, you tell me it's mashed potatoes and it's not mashed potatoes, we have a problem.
A real problem.
Yeah. Texas or North Carolina barbecue?
Texas. And I like North Carolina barbecue, but Texas.
Yeah, I'll go Texas.
I feel like North Carolina barbecue is a little too sweet. So I'm also in on the Texas barbecue. I'm more the smoky guy.
Now, that said, I'm a Carolina Gold guy, but I believe that's more of a South Carolina sauce, the mustard sauce.
Probably.
Carolina Gold. You want a hot take?
Let's hear it.
Carolina Gold is the superior wing sauce.
Mm-hmm.
There's no better wing sauce than a properly done Carolina Gold. Whatever heat that you like it, it is better than buffalo wing sauce, the Carolina Gold sauce on chicken wings.
I like it. I'm starting to like garlic parm. I love that on chicken wings, but it's a different story.
Hold on, Will. Will wants to know if I've seen that Short Vine will now be blocked off for football games for tailgating.
Did you read the tweet?
He's on the show.
I'm on the show. Mo and Tony are the hosts, and I am a weekly guest. I'm part of the production. Read the tweet. It mentions Chad Brendel and Bearcat Journal in the tweet. This is something that we have been working on with Mios behind the scenes before the pandemic. We have been trying to get this set up, and then the Mios folks and the Shortfine folks have taken it a step farther. Because of the recruiting responsibilities of Bearcat Journal, I have to make it over to the stadium like an hour and a half before kickoff, because that's when the recruits get on the field. So I'm not able to do the entire show, but we are part of this. So yes, we are aware of the thing on Short Vine. Carolina Gold is perfect. You're right, Lambig. Carolina Gold is the perfect sauce. It's part barbecue, it's part mustard, and it's part, like, depending on, you can set whatever heat you want in Carolina Gold sauce.
Yeah, none of that pairs well with ranch.
Yes, it does. Try it. Aaron, you've never had my wings. Ranch. My wings are Carolina Gold wings, and they pair perfectly with ranch.
I mean, even air pairs perfectly with ranch. Come on.
All right. Well, now you're sounding like a
Rick
true
just eats ranch like this, like the ice cream cone.
I did used to get paid back in the day to drink the cup of ranch.
So for the rapid fire questions, we're doing real well here. Morgantown or Kabul?
Morgantown, only because I need a passport to get to Kabul.
I can't wait to go to Morgantown because
you have a passport, Chad.
It's equidistant from here in Athens as UC is, so it's not a terrible drive.
You're gonna get beat up in Morgantown.
That's fine. I'm going straight to the press box.
You might still get beat up in Morgantown.
We're going out into Morgantown, baby. We're going out.
And that is the mailbag.
All right.
There we go.
What a show.
That's fun, guys. It's okay to disown. Oh, okay. I thought that was a random addition late.
Taking banners down and the auto pop. It's dumb. That's the mailbag.
That's the mailbag,
great show,
baby.
I said I wanted it well under 2 hours. We're at an hour and 54 minutes.
Which for us is well under 2 hours.
You took rapid fire entirely too long.
We were at an hour and 48 minutes when we did rapid fire.
I'm tired.
Yeah. My eyes have been like, why are you doing up still? But anyway, guys, this was great. Good to get into BBP. Everyone's busy schedules, but you know what? Aaron, huge congratulations yet again.
Appreciate it.
Will, Dad, I feel like Will thinks we picked on him tonight. I'm sorry, Will.
No, Will Damp is the
dude. You asked questions that invoked sarcastic responses from me, and that's because I'm always sarcastic. I'm sorry.
Shout out Will Damp. Great questions, great additions tonight.
The rare Chad Brendel apology. Well done.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I felt like looking back, I feel like I might have been a little too harsh on Will tonight. But I just wanted to make sure he didn't take it wrong. As long as you're good with the fun back and forth, Will, then game on.
There we go.
I just want to make sure. I don't know you, Will, so I don't know that I don't know if I can poke at you like I do Aaron and Brent all the time.
Chad just said apology rescinded. Doubling down.
Apology rescinded. You stink. I hate you.
Stamp.
Get us
Damn
out
it.
of here.
Hate.
We still got to do a nightcap. Get us out of here.
Aaron, still another congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Chad, enjoy your time down there in the Peach/Palmetto State region area. And then aside from that, stay locked in on BCJ all week as more and more content gets produced. But huge shout out to Danco Transmissions, dancotransmission.com. But for my good pals, my buddies, late night edition of the BBP, Mr. Aaron Smith, Mr. Chad Brendel, I am Brent Young. Yet again, this was the BBP presented by Bearcat Journal.